Hey guys, how you doing? So one of my friends told me that he was having some issues with his posture, and in particular, he has a problem where his shoulders are rotated forward. So it looks like he doesn't look as big as he thinks he should look because he doesn't have that thoracic extension that he needs to um, put his put his arms or his humerus and his shoulders instantaneous axis of rotation. So this entire video is going to be dedicated to showing him and viewers the there's a few exercises that I'm going to show and explain, and then hopefully that'll help him with some of the posture correction as well as some corrective stretching and those sorts of things. Alright, so basically what you're seeing me do here is is a variation of the lat pull down, and the reason that I like this one better than I actually like the lat pull down, I think I took this too from one of Elliot Hals's videos. The reason that I like this is because the bar is not in front of you, nor is it behind you, and if you cause yourself on purpose to pull your elbows back to sort of be even with your shoulders, and you kind of flex your, I guess you'd be flexing like right between your shoulder blades. If you work on holding your shoulder blades tight as you pull down on the bands, this is definitely something that'll help you with thoracic extension and with help you improve your posture. So then I also just go ahead and show you a few band stretches here. Usually you hold these for 30 seconds to 2 minutes on each pose, and the ones that go out are more for the external rotators of the glenohumeral joint, and then the ones that are pulling or you allow the band to pull you are for the anterior portion of the glenohumeral joint. Okay, so a lot of people will work like bench in order to strengthen their pecs and the front of their shoulders, but the problem with that is that you end up with a lot of this type of anterior rotation that you don't want. So a good way to counteract that is with the overhead press. And so you'll see there in the video, I'm purposely exaggerating, keeping a very big chest when I get a hold of the weight. It also helps you if you can get your clavicles and your chest up into the bar, so that way your wrists don't have to bend back as much when you get a hold of the bar to start the press. Then once you start the press, you kind of get the bar up close to you, and as it comes up to about chin level, you kind of do something like, "Ooh, that stinks." It's a cue that someone used at Gorilla CrossFit in Fort Wayne when I went, and it just stuck with me. So it's kind of like, "Ooh, that stinks," and then you push your head through. I think I exaggerate that just a little bit too much. You'll see my arms almost go behind my shoulders, and that's not good. You want to keep the bar fairly in line with the rest of your body, but hopefully that makes sense. Alright, I also end up doing the bent over row. So, um, it's a lot like the deadlift in that because of all of the muscles of your lower back and some of your upper back are only isometrically contracted. You want to contract those and get your body in a position of stability before you ever touch the weight. So once your body is where it needs to be, you'll see I think I started with underhand grip, and then I switched to overhand grip. And underhand grip just is supposed to work more of your lower back. I didn't really feel a difference, honestly. And you'll notice I don't pull the weight up into me. I'm pulling the weight down and sort of in an angle, following the angle of my hips and my thighs into my lower belly button area as I do it. I probably should have had a little bit more of a back angle. I should have been down just a little bit closer, a little bit more bent over, but all in all, I think that's something that will help you with posterior development as well. So I also end up doing deadlift, and again, deadlift, I think I stressed in the video keeping your feet in a jumping stance, keeping them in a close stance, not the same as your squat stance, which will be just a little bit wider. My toes are pointed out at 30-degree angles, and they're very close in line with my hips. My hands then trail down my thighs, and I try to keep them as close to the bar as possible. If I'm doing lighter weight, I go with double overhand grip. Your body will actually not allow you to lift the most weight it can possibly lift unless you do the over-under grip. So that's something that I actually would add if I was going to do heavier weight. Something that I showed was the 90-90 stretch. And it's not as much of a stretch as it is just working on that thoracic extension and pulling your shoulder blades together. So if you're in the laying down and you try to get your shoulder blades to touch each other while you keep your head like sort of attached to the floor. The higher you can get your hands, the better. I think there's a way to do this with bands as well, but I'm not familiar with it, so maybe that's something you can look into. So you see me playing around with a PVC pipe. I think it was a 6 pound or a 6 foot um, PVC pipe. I think it costs like $4 or $5. Um, it's nice because you can do this with a broom handle, with whatever you can get your hands on. But you want to go out. You want to be as narrow as possible. But for me, I'm not too flexible through my shoulders, so you can see I still have a really wide grip. The important thing when you're going over your head, and then back down in front of your head, is that the entire time your elbows are locked out completely. And that's the best way to make sure that the concentration is just on your shoulder joint rather than letting using momentum or using your elbows or using other parts of your body to take some of the strain off the joint. So you may need to widen your grip just a little bit just so that you can extend your elbows all the way. That way you don't end up cheating. So the last one was it's something that I kind of stole from Elliot Hulse as well. It's called an energetic stool, and as you can see, it's nothing fancy. It's just it's a bar stool that I got from Walmart. I think it was $11. It's made out of metal, and then there's bungee straps that go around and hold a dowel rod that goes between it. The only thing that the dowel rod is used for is to lower yourself onto the stool carefully. And then there's this big piece of PVC pipe. You need to use that PVC pipe, or some people use foam rollers. That's actually a little bit nicer, but it's a little bit more expensive. So I'm just a college kid, didn't want to spend a whole lot of money on a piece of PVC. But you use the PVC pipe as a pivot point for your spine. So you find a spot, usually in your upper back between your shoulder blades, if you're having problems with too much anterior rotation of your shoulders, and you use the stool as the pivot point for your body. And one way to relax all of the abdominal muscles and take pressure out of your lungs and that sort of thing is by opening your jaw really wide and breathing out deep and breathing in deep, taking nice slow breaths. When you breathe out, you'll feel all of the air, all of the pressure, everything leave your body, and you'll be able to go down further than you were previously. Don't knock it unless you try it.